Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, Hot Fudge Sundae y en la nueva Creamy Chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Para pa pa pa.
Welcome to the chalkboard, my fellow football nerds, for episode number 192 of Chalk Talk. I am your host, Shane Haff, and you can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. I'm joined today by the best co-host in the game. You have heard him on the Tough Cover radio show. It is Mark Henry Jr. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mark Henry Jr. NFL. Mark, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Excited for this part and excited for the next part of our expansion draft series. One of my favorite episodes of the year is next week's. Got to do this one to get to that one. But I love this too.
Yeah, absolutely. We are in part 2 of our annual NFL expansion draft series. For those of you that maybe missed last week's episode, what we're doing is imagining a universe where there is a 33rd team being added to the NFL. And so each team gets to protect 5 players on offense, 5 players on defense, and then 1 wild card on either side of the ball. So 11 total players protected. Last week, we went through the NFC and established the protected players for every team. This week, we're going to do the same on the AFC. Next week, we will go back through the unprotected players, taking 1 from each team to build a 32-man roster. So that is where we're at. If you missed the NFC episode, you can go check that out. Episode 191 posted last week. And feel free to play along with us. Let us know who you would have protected, maybe differently than us. You can drop that in the comments here live. You can shout us out on Twitter, whatever. But where the fun really starts is next week. You can go together and piece together your expansion team. And I encourage you to do that. We had some good dialogue last time around with people that had already put together their teams and then listened to us work through the episode. So it's a lot of fun. We're going to dive into the AFC this time.
Do we have a team name for our expansion team? The Oklahoma City Lightning?
There we go. The Thunder and the Lightning. I like it.
Thunder and the Lightning. All right.
We could. Oklahoma has long needed an NFL team, but now that I'm so entrenched with the Eagles, I almost hope it never happens. Yeah. Or at least make it an AFC team. Like you could have an Oklahoma AFC team. Move the Chargers here. You got the Lightning Bolt. They've got the cool uniforms. Nobody cares about them in LA. They don't need 2 teams. So this is the official campaign to bring the Oklahoma City Chargers. and we.
Well, I don't think we can be the Oklahoma City Chargers as the 33rd team, though. I think we have to stick with the Lightning,
that's fair.
And we'll just steal their logo.
There you go. And I want the powder blue uniforms too.
Yeah.
So I call dibs on those, but yeah, maybe we should come up with, that'd be a cool thing. Somebody that's listening here, come up with a name and logo and stuff and send it to us, and maybe we can put that out there for our team. That'd be pretty sweet. But okay, let's dive in. And Mark, let's start off in the AFC North with the Buffalo Bills. So on the offensive side of the ball, obviously you're going to protect Josh Allen. I do think there's a lot of interesting conversation after Josh Allen on the offense. So I wrote down Dalton Kincaid, Dion Dawkins, and then I feel like you want to keep some of the skill position guys, but I wasn't sure who. Like, you have Keon Coleman, who they took last year. You've got James Cook. Spencer Brown is another guy I could see you wanting to keep on the offensive side of the ball. And then I listed Khalil Shakir, but I don't think he's a guy you'd probably end up protecting. And well, maybe you take him over Coleman. Where do you lean after Allen, Kincaid, and Dawkins?
I wouldn't go Kincaid.
Okay.
I think Kincaid's been really disappointing. I just don't think he's lived up to what we hoped he'd be, even statistically. I had 4 definites as Josh Allen, Dion Dawkins, Spencer Brown, and I had James Cook.
Okay. I'm cool with James Cook. I think he's a really good player. I wasn't sure how we'd feel given the guys on offense about protecting a running back there, but I'm cool with that. So Allen, Cook, Dawkins, Brown,
and then I think you're debating between Shakir and O lineman.
Yeah.
Which
O lineman would you kick in there? Torrance?
Yeah, he wasn't very good. Yeah, it's tough to keep Torrance when he wasn't very good. That's probably where I'd go, but I'm not passionate about the 5th spot, or I think you're keeping 6 on defense here also.
Yeah.
I'm not very passionate about the 5th spot. I guess I lean Shakir. They did just give him a pretty good contract. How much money did they give him here? Out of curiosity, 4 years, $53 million. It's a pretty, yeah. I guess we should say Shakir.
Okay, so we will keep Josh Allen, James Cook, Dion Dawkins, Khalil Shakir, and Spencer Brown on offense. On defense, and again, it gets interesting. I think you're going Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Joey Bosa. You're probably keeping all 3 of those.
Yeah.
You're going to keep Maxwell Hairston because he's your rookie first-round pick.
Yeah.
Matt Milano, I think you probably keep. He's older, good linebacker, though. Who else were you looking at on the defensive side?
I had 3 names for the last 2 spots with Milano, Christian Benford, and Landon Jackson.
Okay. Out of those, I would say
we'll do Milano since you have Milano, so it comes down to I'd say Benford or Jackson.
Let's do Benford.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Benford there. So
we'll be taking Landon Jackson, I think.
Yeah.
To get some youth. There's not going to be a lot of rookies that we liked. I don't know how much you liked Landon actually. Now that I think back, but
yeah. Taylor Rapp is another name that I had jotted down, but I like Benford more than Rapp. So
yeah, I agree.
Rapp is potentially there for the expansion team as well. So there you have it. Rousseau, Oliver, Bosa, Milano, Hairston, and Benford for the Bills defense. So, okay, let's go to the New England Patriots. And I don't know, they're going to keep Drake May.
Yeah.
So that I feel like their offense was pretty easy. So I wrote down Drake May. They're going to keep Will Campbell and Travion Henderson. And then I put down Hunter Henry and Mike Onwenu.
Mike Onwenu, definitely. I actually had a 5th and 6th. I didn't have who am I missing? Who did you say?
Drake May, Will Campbell, Travion Henderson, Mike Onwenu were the 4 for sures, and then I had Hunter Henry down as the 5th guy.
I didn't have Henry. I had either Ramondre or Kyle Williams. I get not wanting to keep both running backs. They did take Kyle Williams in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know though. I'm fine with Henry.
Yeah. I'd be okay with Kyle Williams. I definitely wouldn't keep Ramondre and keep a second running back.
Yeah.
So Kyle Williams or Hunter Henry, you pick.
I'll go Kyle Williams.
All right.
We
Kyle
might,
Williams.
we might end up keeping Henry though.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Okay. Defensive side of the ball, I had 3 for sure's and Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, and Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Where did you go on defense after those guys?
I think Keon White has to be a for sure. I know that a lot of Patriots fans thought he really improved last year. And then the other 2 names I wrote down are kind of older, but Harold Landry and Carlton Davis were the 2 names I had written down.
Yeah, same thing. I had Carlton Davis, Harold Landry, Jabril Peppers is another guy I listed for consideration. But I definitely want to keep Carlton Davis. It'd probably be between Harold Landry and Jabril Peppers for me. And I think I'd rather have Harold Landry in that situation.
Yeah, let's go Landry and Davis. Landry's a Vrabel guy also.
Okay. By the way, man, Christian Gonzalez is maybe one of the more underrated, under-talked about corners in the NFL, because if you put together a list of top 10 cornerbacks, he's absolutely on it. And I feel like very few people even know his name. And I mean, he's missed some significant time down the stretch, and he plays for a bad team, and that all probably factors in, but such a good player. That was such a good cornerback class. If you go back and think about it, with him and Joey Porter Jr. and then Washington got Emmanuel Forbes out of it. So that worked out well for the Eagles, but there was some really good cornerbacks in that class.
It's been 3 straight insane cornerback classes. I mean, just Quinyon and Cooper last year alone. I still think Terrion Arnold's going to be really good. I feel like there were some other really good corners. The year before is what you're talking about. The year before that is Sauce and Stingley. Yeah. So it's just been 3 years straight of absolute studs.
Yeah, I was going to –
Woolen in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to go look it up now that we're talking about cornerbacks. Let me go see real fast. Oh, no, that's quarterbacks, not cornerbacks. I don't know. This is maybe a dumb thing to try to look up live on the air.
McDuffie was in there in one of those couple years.
I was a big McDuffie guy back in that draft.
I wasn't. Petrie's turned into a really good corner. He was kind of a safety when he came out. But
yeah, so that 23 draft class, Devon Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. was a really good trio that came out. Stingley and Sauce and Trent McDuffie was the year before.
McCreary the year before?
The year before was Horn and Surtain. So yeah, it's been a really good run of cornerbacks for sure. It's a position that used to be like, man, it's going to take some time, and now they seem to be coming in and dominating right out of the gate.
It really does seem to be an immediate impact position nowadays.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's roll on to the Miami Dolphins and talk to me about the Dolphins offense here.
It's all skill position. I have Tua, A-Chain, Hill, Waddle, Jonnu. Those are my 5. No O-lineman.
No O-lineman. Okay.
Their O-line's awful.
Yeah. Aaron Brewer's not bad, and they just drafted Jonah Savani in the second round. But yeah, their O-line's not great.
Yeah, Brewer's it's only 27. I thought he was a little older, to be honest. I mean, I'd listened to Brewer. I wasn't a big fan of Savanier.
Yeah, I wasn't huge on him. I'd be fine with that. I was really tempted to just not even protect Tua, but
you have to.
I'm so out on Tua, but
they're not good enough elsewhere to do it.
Yeah, so A-Chain, Hill, Waddle, Tua, Jonnu Smith. That's like the most Dolphins thing ever. Let's protect all our skill players, and we don't care about offensive line.
Time out. This isn't the Tush Push episode, as it's getting banned right now. Apparently, Jeffrey Lurie just entered the NFL owners room with Jason Kelsey. That's really funny.
That's funny.
That's really funny.
I can't wait for the NFL to ban the Tush Push and the Eagles just convert 85% of their regular QB sneaks anyways, because it doesn't really matter.
He's there to lobby NFL owners. Schefter just put out to argue why they should keep the tush push. That has earned. If anyone got upset with Jason Kelsey for any of the Super Bowl stuff, that should earn his way back into their hearts. Not that anyone should have been really upset, but
yeah, that's kind of
awesome.
Hilarious.
It's awesome.
All right, well, let's keep
taking a flight to Minneapolis to defend a play that on a team you're not on anymore is next level.
A play that he hated, by the way. All right, let's keep rolling here and let's get to the New York Jets.
We didn't do the defense.
Oh, you're right. My bad. I mean, do they have a defense? Okay.
Really. I have 3 edge rushers kept.
Yeah. So I put down Kenneth Grant because he was their first round pick. They're going to keep Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
They're going to keep. I'm assuming you've got Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you come down to we get 6. So I have Jalen Ramsey, Jordan Brooks. You could keep inside linebacker, and then I actually have another edge rusher in Zach Sealer listed.
I definitely Jordan Brooks. I had him down. And then I had Tyrell Dodson, the other linebacker, down. But I'm also fine if you wanted to keep Brewer or Savigny on offense. Instead.
Let's keep Brewer.
Okay.
Let's give them one piece on their offensive line.
Yeah.
All right. Jalen Ramsey, welcome to the Oklahoma City Lightning.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't protect him is because it seems very clear that they're trading him. Maybe that's stupid, but I don't think they're going to get they're going to get a 3rd or a 4th round pick at most. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if it's worth protecting someone to trade them for a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's go to the Jets now. And I think this is a team where there's a legitimate argument not to protect the quarterback. Because they have Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. And so it's sort of like, I don't know if we'll end up protecting one of those. So,
I disagree.
Okay. I think
God, I protect Fields.
Okay. And so when I'm looking at it, they're going to protect Armand Membu. They're going to protect Olu Fashanu.
Yeah.
And then you also have Elijah Vera Tucker, who I think is, a really solid interior offensive lineman. And I think you could make an argument to also protect Joe Tippmann and John Simpson. But then you also have Breece Hall. You've got Garrett Wilson. You've got Mason Taylor there. So there's a lot of guys on this offense that I would like to see you protect. So Fashanu, Membu, Elijah Vera Tucker are for sure 3. Where would you lean for the other guys here? I feel like you got to keep Garrett Wilson.
I feel really good about the 6 with Fields, Hall, Wilson, Membu, Fashanu, AVT.
All right, say that again. Fashanu, Membu, AVT, Fields, Wilson, and Hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, that's one of the better top 6s of any of these offenses we've talked about. And I think the Jets are going to win 9 games. I think they're going to be competitive. I'm not even a huge Aaron Glenn guy or anything, but I do feel like I've liked everything in terms of how he's handled the Rodgers stuff and the media. And I think they're turning over a page. And we've talked about it this isn't the episode for this, but we've talked about it how many times where a mobile quarterback gives you a high floor. He went 4-2 with the Steelers last year. If you include his second half with Chicago, he's 9-4 in his last 13 games that he started. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they have. You look at Membu. If Membu pans out the way that I think we think he's going to, with Olu and Elijah Vera Tucker, that's one of the better core 3 young offensive linemen you can find on any O line across football. I think the Jets are really building something, and I'm kind of hopeful that Justin Fields proves himself to be an average NFL starter this year and someone who's going to be the quarterback there next year even.
Yeah, you look at, honestly, just how much better the Jets should get by getting Aaron Rodgers out of the building.
From a football and non-football perspective.
Yeah, I'm lumping the non-football locker room, let me be your GM stuff into it. I don't think it can be overstated the upgrade the Jets have at the quarterback position, which sounds crazy. going from Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields, but I think it's going to make a huge difference culture-wise and on the field.
And I think it's just an identity shift. Like, this was a team that was a defensive-minded team with a good offensive line, and you had a stud running back in Breece Hall. And now you're going to have to run the ball. Now you're going to be a defensive-minded Aaron Glenn on defense as a head coach, running the ball football team, and Justin Fields just has to throw 20 to 25 times per game, I think. Like, I'm the Jets are kind of going to be like my team this year. I think they have a nice young nucleus that I think can put something together.
All right. So lots of Jets love here. I would love to see Justin Fields have a good season. But I'm a little biased on that because I loved him coming out too. But I would love to see him finally take off somewhere.
I think it's funny. I feel like there's a lot more negativity about Justin. Like when Justin Fields was on Chicago 2 years ago, down the stretch of the year, remember all the debates about like, oh, you can't draft Caleb Williams. Like, this guy he's really doing something here in the second half and he's putting it together. And there was all those debates. I felt like the league-wide opinion on Justin Fields was a lot lower than the casual or the fan-wide opinion on Justin Fields. And we saw that when he got traded to be a backup. But then he went 4-2. And I understand the stats weren't crazy, but now people are treating Justin Fields after that year like, oh, well, he stinks. Like, he's terrible. And it's like, you weren't saying that before he went 4-2 with Pittsburgh. And I understand he wasn't lighting it up stat wise, but I think the Fields conversation's been thrown way out of whack. I think he's like, if I was ranking the quarterbacks, and we will soon, I think he'd be like fringe top 20.
Yeah. He should have been the starter all year last year in Pittsburgh. They really messed that up. They
botched this whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep rolling. Let's get into the AFC South.
No, we skip defense again.
Oh my gosh. We go on tangents and I forget about the defense. Talk to me. Who are you protecting on defense for the Jets?
I think there's 4 no doubts, and then I don't really have a fifth.
Okay.
Sauce, Quinnen, Quincy Williams, Will McDonald were my 4 that I thought were definites.
All right, I'll throw Jamin Sherwood in there as the 5th guy. I think
I'm fine with that. I had Azarae Thomas written down just because they took him on whenever the 3rd, 4th round. I forget when it was. But yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think Sherwood is probably the guy. Jermaine Johnson was a 1st-round pick a few years ago, but I don't think he's been particularly good. And so yeah, that's where I would go there. So that's the Jets. We would have a lot of teams with no defense protected if Mark didn't remind me. But
I will say the defense, and I think it'll be better than last year. It is a little less talented than you would think. Like 2 years ago, the way we were talking about this Jets defense, I think we were factoring in Jermaine Johnson and a couple other pieces maybe growing. Not as talented as I thought, but I do think, defense year to year bounces up and down. I think we probably get a better Sauce here, more healthy Quinnen year, new defensive coordinator. I do think it'll be a good to average defense, but I don't think it has that like great level potentially.
Yeah. Okay. Houston Texans offense to keep CJ Stroud. I'm assuming we'll keep both pass catchers, Nico and Tank Dell. Although some of the injury stuff is concerning there.
They drafted a receiver in the 2nd and 3rd. I don't think we can keep Tank.
Okay. I'm open to that for injury reasons and stuff. But so if you don't keep Tank, you got CJ Stroud, you got Nico Collins. I put down Titus Howard.
Definitely.
Cam Robinson, which I don't love, but it's offensive line, and their offensive line's been kind of atrocious.
I think you have to keep Ursery.
Yeah, I had Howard, Robinson, and Ursery.
I actually had Jaden Higgins / Jalen Noel for the 6th spot, so I wasn't even thinking about Tank Dell because I think he's out for the year. Or maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe
is he out for the year? Okay,
maybe he's only out for part of the year. But I think Stroud, Nico, Titus, Ursery are a definite 4.
Yeah,
and then the 5th, I'm not. I'm fine with Cam.
Okay, so
because you have all these other receivers, you might as well.
Yeah, and I think you're probably
6 on defense.
Going to keep 6 on defense. So yeah, let's go the 3-0 linemen, Stroud and Collins. Defense, you're going to keep Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie.
Great secondary.
Yeah, great secondary. And then I had written down Daniil Hunter, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is probably your 6 on defense. And I don't love I don't love Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and you're already keeping a lot in the secondary, so I'm open to a different 6 there, but
I think he's an above average safety.
Yeah.
So I think you keep him there. Yeah. And Danielle Hunter, I was almost thinking, maybe don't keep him. And I forgot he had like 15 and a half sacks last year or something crazy.
Yeah, he was awesome. Okay, let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. This is another one where I think there's a pretty strong argument to not keep a quarterback. But talk to me about the offense.
Yeah, I don't think you can keep either of these quarterbacks. I went Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor.
Uh-huh.
I still went Quentin Nelson.
Same.
Bernard Raymond.
Same.
And then I put 5 and 6 but I also have multiple names for the 5th guy on defense. I put Michael Pittman and AD Mitchell, but I almost am willing to, if there's a non-receiver that you have in mind, I'm willing to hear it because they kind of have like 4 guys.
Yeah. I also had Michael Pittman Jr. That was my 5, but Braden Smith, the right tackle, I think you could make an argument to keep. Matt Goncalves, the right guard, I think you could make an argument to keep. I think if I was going to keep a 6th, it would be Braden Smith. Josh Downs is also there, but you have Josh Downs, you have AD Mitchell. So
even Alec Pierce.
Yeah. So I think I would go Taylor, Pittman, Warren, Raymond, Nelson. And if we end up going 6, Braden Smith would probably be my 6th.
I agree.
So defensively, I had DeForest Buckner and Laiatu Latu as a for sure 2. And then
I think Kwity Paye.
Yeah. So they've got so many offensive linemen because they just drafted JTT.
I have him down too.
They have Grover Stewart, who's also solid. But then you get into the secondary, Kenny Moore and Shavarius Ward, and then safety Nick Cross. So those are all guys I'm interested in keeping. So I would say, let's see, we took 5 on offense. I would say if you keep
on defense,
keep either Kwity Paye or JTT, and then keep 2 of the 3 defensive backs.
I think we go Moore and Cross.
Okay.
In the secondary.
Kenny Moore, Nick Cross in the secondary, Kwity Paye. And so that leaves you for your 6th guy, or your wild card, basically between Braden Smith on the offensive line, Shavarius Ward, or JTT.
I think it's Smith or JTT, and I'll let you make the call.
Okay. Let's go Smith. Right tackle's more important than keeping a 4th defensive lineman, I think, even though JTT's young and a rookie.
I think JTT will be a Lightning.
Yeah, he probably will be. Okay. That's a defense I didn't realize was as talented as it was, to be honest.
It is. They have a lot of talent all over that roster. They just haven't figured quarterback out.
Yeah, this is one of several teams in the AFC that as I did it, I was like, man, I'm surprised I'm having this hard of a time narrowing it down. But okay, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Is Travis Hunter 1 or 2 players?
1. But I think there's some flexibility in if you consider him an offensive or defensive player for the purposes of the exercise. So
let's keep him like above here. He's above this whole conversation, and we'll figure out where we need him.
Yeah, so we're keeping Travis Hunter, to be determined where. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland.
I didn't have him.
Okay. And Patrick McCarry are the guys I had jotted down for offense.
I had Anton Harrison and Wyatt Milam. So I had the other 2 offensive linemen.
That's funny.
I'm passionate about Milam because you know how I love Milam. But also, if we don't take him, we could also draft him. But I try to stay away from that line of thinking when we do this.
Yeah,
but,
I think you might be overvaluing the rookie of it all with Milam because I don't think he's even projected to be a starter for them.
I think he's going. Yeah, but their line's not young. Besides Little and Harrison. Yeah, I think he's going to be a starter there.
And for Harrison, I just think he was bad last year.
Yeah, well,
but he is a former first-round pick that's not been in the league that long, so it's kind of how you balance that out.
Was he last year? If he was their first last year, I think they have to keep him.
Yeah, I think he was.
I wasn't a fan, by the way. I think I had him in like the 50s or 60s. So I was not an Anton Harrison guy, but I think
no, it's 2023. He was the 27th pick. Brian Thomas Jr. was the pick last year for them.
You're right. That opens it up a little bit.
So he's been in the league. He's been a full-time starter for 2 years.
I would
not that we
Milo
love
over
PFF
Harrison.
grades, but he had a 64 grade this year, 53 last year. Allowed 4 sacks and 31 pressures.
That's a lot of pressures.
This last year on 582 pass block snaps, which is a 5.3% pressure rate.
I think you're counting Hunter as an offensive player.
Yeah. Okay, so Lawrence, Thomas, Hunter, Walker Little is 4 on offense.
And I would go Milam.
I don't know. I think they're gonna start both Macari and Cleveland over Milam. Like I think he's their number 3 guard.
Well, Milam's also. I still am kind of bullish that he could be a tackle also.
Yeah, I guess if you keep Milam, it gives you potential flexibility to replace Harrison, Cleveland, or Macari if they get stolen and get younger.
Okay. And we probably will steal one of them.
Okay.
Like I think no matter what, we probably are taking an offensive lineman from Jacksonville.
Okay. So, I'll give it to you on that logic. So Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Walker Little, Wyatt Milam, Travis Hunter on offense. And we'll circle back in case we want to add a 6th.
Or if we want to flip Travis.
Yeah, that's true. Defensively, who do you have on the defense?
I had 3 no-doubters with Josh Hines-Allen, Devin Lloyd, and Trayvon Walker.
Okay. I have all of those down. I would throw Eric Armstead in there as well.
I had him down also. And then I had Jerrion Jones and Tyson Campbell.
Okay. I had Jerrion Jones, Tyson Campbell. Yeah. I also wrote down Jordan Lewis. I think he's a really solid nickelback, depending on how you want to value nickelback versus outside corner. I think you could also make an argument for Oluokun, but I probably wouldn't make that argument. So to me, it's between Lewis and Campbell or keeping another one of the offensive linemen.
Keep another offensive lineman. Why not?
Okay. Let's keep who is younger, Cleveland or Macari? I think
whoever's younger. Probably Macari.
Let's see. Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland's only 27. They're both 27. I thought Cleveland was older than that. We're keeping Cleveland. He's good.
They're both older. I think Milam's going to be their tackle. I'm confident that he's going to be a tackle. I know his arms are short, but whatever. Maybe not.
All right. Perfect. Okay, let's go to the Tennessee Titans. Talk to me about this offense.
Cam Ward, J.C. Latham, Peter Skoronsky.
Yep.
And not much else. I wrote Dan Moore, who they just paid.
Yeah.
Might not be very good, but and then my 5th, I wrote 2 names for the 5th and 6th spot. I wrote Calvin Ridley / Kevin Zeitler. I think Calvin Ridley's bad. I think that contract is bad. But Kevin Zeitler's old. I think Kevin's good.
They have Tyler Lockett too.
He's old too.
Yeah, but at a certain point with a rookie quarterback, you just got to give him somebody to throw the football to as well.
That's
so
fair.
I think you're probably Zeitler is good, but he's 35.
He's old,
Yeah. I think it's Ward, Moore, Skoronsky, Latham, and then I think you keep either Ridley or Lockett or both if you end up keeping 6.
I think it's probably Ridley, even though I think he stinks.
I don't think he stinks. Okay, defensively, they'll probably.
I have his Jags year burned into my brain with him dropping passes and running out of bounds, and he's just so frustrating to me. I guess he's had 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons, but
yeah, I think you're more out on him than you should be. I think he's solid. He's fine. Okay, defensively, they'll keep Oladejo. He was their 2nd-round pick. L'Jarius Sneed, Jeffrey Simmons. I feel like they would also probably keep T'Vondre Sweat.
So we have Oladejo, Sneed, Sweat, Simmons.
Yeah, so that's
all the
4.
McCreary.
McCreary. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
And then I had, for a sixth possible name, I wrote Kevin Winston, who I didn't have in my top 100. But he was a day 2 pick.
I had Cody Barton and Arden Key both written down as also potential guys.
I'm fine with whatever for the sixth name on either side. That's up to you.
Let's do Cody Barton. Keep a linebacker.
Cool. Kevin Zeitler, 35-year-old starting guard for the Lightning.
Yeah, probably so. We're going to end up with like 12 offensive linemen. You're on a big offensive line kick this year, I got to say.
I am. I don't know what that is.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. The NBA playoffs are here, and Michelob Ultra is getting you closer to the game than ever with courtside seats and more. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access Courtside 2024 to 2025 sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Ends on July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/superior access/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
This episode is brought to you by PetSmart. Stop by for Yappy Hour with your pet at PetSmart. Save $5 on walk-in grooming services like nail trims, ear cleaning, brushing, and more. No appointment needed every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. And while you're there, Yappy Hour includes exclusive in-store deals like 25% off pet toys. Visit services.petsmart.com/grooming to learn more.
All right, well, let's go to the Chiefs, who don't have any offensive linemen. No, that's not true. They do. They're actually going to probably protect 3 to 4. Yeah. So I don't know. They're probably going to protect this guy named Patrick Mahomes. Going to keep him. You're going to keep Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Josh Simmons. And then you get down to, do you want to protect Jawan Taylor?
He stinks.
I don't think he's that great, but you got Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy.
I think it's Worthy and or Rice.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that you keep 6 on the offense to keep them both.
I agree.
So on the defense, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton. I think
I didn't have any linebackers down because I feel like they have 3 good ones. Maybe that's a dumb way of thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. I had all 3 of them written down, actually.
yeah, you could go either way.
So Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, I feel
those
like
are the 3
sures.
Yeah.
And then I had down Nick Bolton, Leo Chenal, and Drew Tranquil.
Do that. I like that better. I had Shamari Connor and Jalen Watson and some and LB question mark written down, so I was probably going to end up keeping one of the linebackers. Just do all 3 linebackers.
Okay, so that puts our 6 on defense, which leaves Rashee Rice unprotected.
Yeah.
We good with that?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess he's going to be on the OKC Lightning as well.
Shamari Connor, good option as well, though.
Yeah.
Secondary.
All right. Let's go to the Los Angeles Chargers. Mark, talk to me about the offense.
my Super Bowl pick in May here. But Justin Herbert, Marion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, and then I think the no-brainer is Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater. I went with a sixth on offense, and I had Trey Harris.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Those were the top 6 I listed. And I think you could maybe I don't think you could make an argument, but Mekhi Becton, welcome to the Lightning. He's probably going to be there. I think that's the direction you go, definitely offensively. They want to be a team that runs the football. You're going to keep both of those tackles for sure. And I really liked Trey Harris. I thought he was a steal where they got him. And this is a team that struggled to have receivers for a long time. And so I think that makes a lot of sense. So Herbert, McConkey, Trey Harris, O'Marion Hampton, Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt. What about defensively?
Tuli Tuipulotu.
I have him.
Derwin James.
Yeah.
Dayon Henley.
Okay.
At linebacker. And then I had Tarkib Still and Cam Hart from the secondary. You could also go Elijah Molden at safety. Those were the names I had. Khalil Mack is also a name. It's old. It depends if you want to protect a 34-year-old.
I think I would keep Mack.
That's fine.
Because he's still playing at a pretty high level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Mack, Thule, James Henley, and then Stiller Hart, I guess.
Yeah. Tony Jefferson is there as well. Wait, is he?
Yeah, he is. He is. I didn't see him when I first went through it. He's 33, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you don't protect him at 33.
Molden's 26. Do you want to keep a second safety?
No.
I guess Tarheeb still had a really good year as a rookie last year.
Yeah, let's do Still, I think.
Cam Hart didn't grade out well as a rookie, but I felt like when I watched the Chargers last year, Cam Hart played really well, and he played a ton of snaps as a fifth-round rookie for them, but still played even more.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Mack, James, Still, Tuipulotu, and Henley as our 5 on defense.
Yeah, I think that roster is really good.
All right. Yeah, that's another one that's like, man, that's actually a pretty solid roster.
Especially on offense. Having Slater and Alt, they're probably like 2 top 5 tackles.
Yeah.
And having them on both sides. You signed Becton on the inside. Now you've got Trey Harris playing next to Ladd McConkey. You add O'Marion Hampton to a team that wants to run the ball a lot. I think that offense is everything it wants. They have it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to the Denver Broncos. Offensively, I wrote down Bo Nix, Quinn Miners, Garrett Bowles, Mike McGlinchey. So I went O-line heavy here. And then I don't love it, but I wrote down Cortland Sutton.
I think you definitely keep Sutton. He was awesome last year. And then I had RJ Harvey as the 6th name. They love RJ Harvey. They took him in the 2nd round. He's going to be the full-time starter, apparently. I think I would keep RJ Harvey.
I don't know about that. I didn't even like Harvey in the draft.
He went like 50th or 45th or something in the draft to them.
Yeah, and he's not going to be any good. But
I think he is. I really liked Harvey. I had him as my RB5. So I really liked Harvey, and they liked him more than me even.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll circle back because I feel like you could keep 6 on defense here as well.
I didn't love the 6th option, I guess, here. Let's go on defense, yeah.
So you're going to keep Surtain and Barron. Yeah. You're going to keep Nick Benito.
Yeah.
And then who else did you have defensively?
Riley Moss.
Okay.
And then I wrote Zach Allen. But I'm not even that confident or passionate about Zach Allen.
Okay, so yeah, I like Talanoa Hufanga. You've got John Franklin Myers there too. I think he's a guy. I would rather keep Myers than Zach Allen, I think, if we were going to keep.
I'm fine with that.
Let's keep. So you got Surtain, Barron, Benito, Moss. Let's keep John Franklin Myers. Because if you keep Hufanga, you're keeping a ton of secondary already.
Yeah.
Let's keep a trench player. And then,
if you don't want RJ Harvey on the team, you better put him on Broncos.
Jonathan Cooper is there. All right, I'll give you RJ Harvey. I don't like him.
They're gonna give him 250 carries this year.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay.
By the way, it's also one of those situations where it's like, if you don't like Xavier Worthy, sorry, he went to the Chiefs. Your draft take is wrong. I kind of feel like the Broncos' offensive line is so good, and their running game was so bad last year. I think it shows how bad like Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin were. Like, I think they're going to plug in. I think they could have drafted any of the top 10 running backs in this year's draft, and I think they would have slotted in and done pretty well behind that O-line with Sean Payton calling the plays.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. Maybe I may be totally wrong about Harvey. Wow. Excuse me. It wouldn't be the first time, but he feels like one of those guys that people always love in the draft because they're explosive, and then they get in the NFL and it's like, oh yeah, they just don't know how to be a running back. We'll see. I am realizing right now, live on the air, that I forgot to include the AFC North in my notes. So I'm gonna have to do the AFC North on the fly, which will be fun. But let's go. Let's finish out the West first with the Raiders. Offensively, this is a team that is a lot better offensively than you would think. So
they're going to be good this year.
Yeah, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. Those are like for sure's. But then they've got some guys on the offensive line. Like, you can make an argument to protect 4 of their 5 offensive linemen, and they've also got Jacoby Myers. So I think Colton Miller is the number 1 guy on the offensive line I would want to protect. And I think you keep him for sure. But then I think it comes down to Jordan Meredith, Dylan Parham, and Jacoby Myers for the 5th spot.
Ooh, I had a different name.
Who do you have?
I think it's Jackson Powers Johnson. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think
we loved him, and then we loved him, and he was pretty good as a rookie.
Yeah. He was solid. Dylan Parham is a guy I remember loving back in the day. I'm glad he's doing well too. Okay, so
I think we go 6 on offense.
So Parham, Johnson, Jacoby Myers. Pick 2 of the 3.
Johnson, and then I'll let you pick between Parham and Myers.
Oh man,
I guess the argument for Myers is that they just don't have any other receiver really.
Yeah. And
I'm not a huge Jacoby Myers guy or anything like that.
I think Dylan Parham might be a better player, but I think you keep Jacoby Myers because if you lose him, you have no receivers. And if you lose Parham, you still have, a good center guard tackle to work with. So let's keep Jacoby Myers.
And obviously the Raiders don't have this information, but I've also already mentally kept 15 offensive linemen throughout the NFL. So we might not even draft Parham anyway.
Yeah. All right. Defensively, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Darian Porter are for sure's.
Crosby, Wilkins, yeah.
And then I jotted down 3 other names: Malcolm Kuntz, Elandon Roberts, and Jeremy Chin.
I think definitely Chin.
Okay.
I love that pickup for them.
Yeah.
I really like that move. So wait, we have Crosby, Wilson, Wilkins, Chin, Porter. Wait, Crosby.
Crosby.
Did you not
Wilkins,
have Wilson?
Wilson. Who?
I thought I heard you say Wilson. Tyree Wilson.
Oh, Tyree Wilson. I did not have Tyree Wilson, but I'm fine with that.
He's been disappointing. I think he graded out better this year. He was mid 52nd out of 119, a 66.9 grade. I think they'd keep Wilson still. I think there's still enough upside there. He was always kind of a project anyway.
Yeah.
So that puts us at what? Crosby, Wilson, Wilkins, Chin, Porter.
And Porter.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be it.
6 on offense. Yeah.
All right. So that concludes the AFC West. Let's get into the AFC North. And so let's start with the Baltimore Ravens. So they're going to keep Lamar Jackson. I feel like they're keeping Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They're going to keep,
I think, Linderbaum and Rosengarten.
Yeah. Tyler Linderbaum, Roger Rosengarten.
Then I had Ronnie Stanley / Zay Flowers. I also have like 7 names on defense.
Yeah. Man, and that leaves out like Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews.
I think you leave both tight ends out there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep Lamar, Derrick Henry, Tyler Linderbaum, Roger Rosengarten, and keep Zay Flowers. They haven't had I think we keep Zay Flowers, and maybe Ronnie Stanley becomes your other guy.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think Zay Flowers is so average, but they don't have anybody else.
Yeah, it's more of a I think he's good, but it's more of a like, what do we have after him?
It's a Jacoby Myers situation.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, defensively, Kyle Hamilton, Nate Wiggins. They keep Marlon Humphrey. He seems like a name you wouldn't have down.
I didn't have him down.
Okay. Who else do you have down?
Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
Roquan.
Yeah.
Odafe Owe.
Yeah.
So what does that put us? We have Hamilton, Starks, Owe, Roquan, Wiggins.
Yeah, that'd be 5.
I'm fine if you want to do Humphrey over Travis Jones or Matabuke. I wrote the 2 defensive tackles down.
Yeah. They also drafted Mike Green.
Oh, I didn't even consider Mike Green. I wonder if I would have if I remember. I think I probably skipped by him.
I think it'd be Mike Green.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's do that. So, man, such a talented team. So Kyle Hamilton, Nate Wiggins, Malachi Starks, Roquan Smith, Odafe Owe, and Mike Green. And there's like 5 other guys I would like to steal from the Ravens.
They need to do it this year, man.
Yeah.
They need to win the AFC at least. Just get to the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, please. Okay, let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, Mark, this is a team where I think we're not going to protect a quarterback. Can I interest you in protecting Mason Rudolph?
No, thank you. Can we protect the imaginary hypothetical idea of Aaron Rodgers? Or I don't know. We protect him in his darkness retreat. We lock the door on his darkness retreat. I think you go DK, Zach Frazier, Troy Fountaino, even though he didn't play last year, but he went in the first round. It feels weird to throw him right back. Broderick Jones. And then I had Caleb Johnson, who I wasn't even a big fan of, but
yeah,
I think he's going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah. What about Pat Freiermuth?
I'm fine with it. I feel like he's the definition of like an average tight end. They have Darnell Washington behind him, who I guess is like the blocking guy. I'm not really passionate about this offense at all.
They've also got Isaac Seumalo, but
he's good. Yeah, the O-line is going to take up at least 3/5.
So
I think it's 6 on defense.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go. So Broderick Jones, Troy Fountainu, Zach Frazier, DK Metcalf.
Seumalo. Let's
do Seumalo.
They
they still have Jalen Warren. They have Kenny Gainwell too. I
think Jalen Warren might have left. Am I wrong here?
Okay, that change. If Jalen Warren's, I don't think he did. If he's not there, it's Caleb Johnson probably.
Oh, I'm wrong. He's still there. I don't know why I thought he left. Bad job by me.
Okay, so yeah, let's leave Caleb Johnson because you also got Jalen Warren. So you're at least walking out with a back you feel decent about. So Jones, Fountainu, Frazier, Seumalo, DK Metcalf. Defensively, you got TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, Alex Highsmith,
Derek Harmon.
Man, that's a good defensive front. Minka.
I have Minka, Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, and that really.
Yeah. Wait, so what are all the names? I had Watt, Harmon, Highsmith, Minka, Joey Porter Jr., and Benton.
Okay, so you didn't have Patrick Queen.
Oh, I didn't have Queen. Wow.
And Darius Slay is still there.
Yeah, I don't think you can keep Slay.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. So
welcome to the roster, Darius Slay. But
so TJ Watt is a for sure. Alex Highsmith,
sure.
Derek Harmon, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. for sure.
They're all for sure.
Keanu Benton versus Patrick Queen. I think you keep Queen considering what else you've kept on the Queen. Yeah, considering what else you're keeping on the defensive front. So, yeah, welcome to the team, either Keanu Benton or Darius Slay for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, their defense is so good. So good.
Unbelievable.
Their quarterback room is so bad.
Go get Kirk Cousins. Make the trade today.
I would trade for Kirk Cousins before I would sign Aaron Rodgers.
I agree. We totally agree.
Also, Kirk Cousins is going to cost you like a 7th round pick. So just go
probably
do it.
Less money.
Yeah. Okay. Cincinnati Bengals. Offense, you're keeping Burrow, keeping Jamar. You're going to keep T.
I wrote Amarius Mims and Chase Brown.
Yeah, Amarius Mims. What about Orlando Brown?
I think Chase Brown's really good.
Yeah. I don't know that Orlando Brown is that great anymore. Mike Gesicki, Ted
I thought they gave him – this is – obviously, we don't factor contracts too much into it. I thought the Mike Gesicki contract was crazy.
Yeah. What did Chase Brown do last year? Chase Brown was – I know they started to give him more carries, and he did really well.
Yeah, 990 yards and 52 catches. But down the stretch, it was like – let me get a – I could shorten the sample size here.
In December,
I guess really
58, 97, 91, 67 yards on the ground, 65, 16, 18, and 24 through the air. Let's keep Chase Brown.
Yeah, and he had like 900 in his last 13 games. So he would have been at like a 12, 13, 1,400 yard pace there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to their defense, and we might circle back and keep a 6th on offense. But despite their unwillingness to give Trey Hendrickson a contract or their unwillingness to guarantee Shamar Stewart's rookie contract for injury, let's just say they'll keep both of those guys. By the way, the Bengals are the most deeply unserious organization in the NFL.
People are just expecting them to like bounce back and be like a Super Bowl contender again this year. They're going 8-9 again, and maybe even worse. Like I think there's a lot of teams that I always refer to it as the Titanic iceberg you're looking at ahead. I feel that way with the Bengals right now, with that defense and with that coach and the way that they're treating their players. Like I just think everything is heading to a dramatic conclusion here. I don't know if that's Burrow or the head coach or what.
I feel like the Bengals will have a top 5 offense again, a bottom 5 defense, and a bunch of people are going to get fired.
Yeah, I agree.
So, which makes it interesting that we're considering keeping 6 on defense here, but
I think it'll be 6 on offense. I only have 5 names written down.
All right, who else do you have besides Hendricks and Stewart?
DJ Turner.
Yeah.
Demetrius Knight.
Okay.
And then I guess I have 2 safeties written down, but they were both terrible last year. Jordan Battle was really good as a rookie, terrible last year. And then Geno Stone, they signed to play safety from Baltimore, and he was terrible. So yeah. I don't know which one. I don't know.
Got Cam Taylor-Britt too.
You could do that.
It probably tells you more about the coaching that a guy who was really good as a rookie was awful his second year, and a guy who was really good in another team came in and was awful at the same position.
If you want to go double safety, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Orlando Brown's probably more valuable than any of these guys.
Yeah, let's keep 6 on offense with Orlando Brown. And then defensively, let's keep Cam Taylor-Britt. We're guaranteed to keep one of the safeties that way. And I don't really want to double down on safeties that were bad last year, even though I think it's mostly scheme related.
We'll see if Al Golden, my guy, Notre Dame defensive coordinator who led us to the promised land, can fix it. I don't think so.
All right, so that brings us to the Cleveland Browns. This one's interesting.
It is really interesting.
How do we handle quarterback for them? Like, do you protect Shador?
I didn't.
I don't think you do. What's funny is on the ESPN depth chart, he's not even listed because it goes Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. I don't think you protect any of their quarterbacks.
I agree.
And I think there's a chance our quarterback comes from this team. But
I agree.
So where else are you protecting on the offense? This is kind of a lousy offense, to be honest.
Definitely Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Definitely Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah.
Definitely Tevin Jenkins.
I missed him on the depth chart.
I think they just either signed him or traded for him. I think it was a trade, actually. And then I wrote 3 other names. I had Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
I had DeWan Jones. And then I had David Njoku.
Okay. I feel like out of those, if we only keep 5, Njoku is the guy that you cut.
I'm fine with that.
What happened to Nick Chubb? Where's Nick Chubb?
He got hurt again.
Oh, so he's still on the team. He's just
but he blew his knee out again. He might not be on he might be a free agent. I could be wrong. He might be on the
He's
team.
not listed on the depth chart. And I was like, I knew he got hurt, but I thought he was still on the team.
He's it says Browns running back trading for return, so I guess he's still on. He might be on like the pup list or something.
Okay, so Jerry Jeudy, Quinshon Judkins, Tevin Jenkins, Wyatt Teller, DeWan Jones, maybe David Njoku. Defensively, you got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I would probably keep Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome. Did you have both of those down?
Sorry, I was too busy trying to read. It was only a broken foot, but I remember it was like a vicious injury for Nick Chubb. I was trying to read something on it. I have Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, obviously, Mason Graham, obviously, Devin Bush were my 4.
Okay. Let's throw.
You mentioned another DB.
Greg Newsome.
That's a good name. Keep Newsome. Do Newsome.
All right.
I wrote safety question mark for the 5th. So I'm assuming that means there's 2 options.
Yeah, Delpit or
Ronnie Hickman. I'd probably lean. I kind of like both of those guys, actually.
We could keep them both. Oh, no, we couldn't. Sorry. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Mason Graham, Devin Bush. So we've only got 1 spot left. And it's compared against David Njoku on the offense. So David Njoku, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, Carson Schlesinger, the guy they drafted a lot higher than I would have, which probably means that we shouldn't take him here. But
the one that sucks is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is out for the year. But I don't know. This is brutal. This is tough. They have a talented defense.
They do.
So we're down to Hickman, Delpit,
Martin Emerson, too, if you wanted to keep a trio of corners. I don't think you do that, though.
Yeah, he was pretty bad last year. Let's go Hickman.
Okay.
He finished as the 13th ranked safety on PFF last year in his 2nd year. That means something, I guess.
Yeah, so Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Mason Graham, Devin Bush, Ronnie Hickman for the 6 on the Browns. So, all right, there we go.
Or wait, would we rather Njoku than Hickman?
I think you could make an argument for that because if you like both of the safeties, you're guaranteed.
Yeah, let's do Njoku.
Okay, let's do it. So we'll scratch Hickman. We'll keep Njoku on the offense. So that gives us 6 on O, 5 on D for the Browns. So there you have it. lot of quarterback options. I like how we just keep talking about the quarterback options, but going to be a lot of quarterback options for our expansion team when we draft it next week.
Yeah, Shador and Kirk Cousins put them on the program guide together, like passing the torch. Like Kirk Cousins can be holding a football and a torch, passing them to Shador. Maybe I don't know.
What we should do just to create some PTSD for Kirk is we should draft him first, and then we should come back and get Shador.
We will, because I think we'll do the NFC first.
Yeah. And then we can
get I've moved my family to Oklahoma City. This is where my future is.
Then we can get the quote from him about how he's not here to mentor a rookie or whatever it was that he said about Michael Penix Jr. It'll be great. Then we're just basically the Falcons, and you don't want to be the Falcons, so maybe we'll handle that a little differently.
I'm really interested to see, compared to last year, how if we think our team can be competitive.
Yeah, same.
Because last year we would have won the Super Bowl.
Probably so. Yeah, we did not make it. I think we did 4 on a side last year, and we kept their first round pick as well. So we're basically keeping 11 instead of 8 this time around. Yeah. So it should make a pretty big difference, but we'll see how competitive we can be. So that's it for this show. Thank you guys for joining in. You've got the protected players now. So if you want to go through and piece together your team, we're going to take one player from each team to fill out a starting roster. So there's a little bit of flexibility in there with, you're going to end up with 2 tight ends. You probably end up with 4 receivers, probably 7 offensive linemen, that sort of thing. But piece together your team and let us know what you think, how it turned out. And you can compare your team to ours when we do the draft next week. But Mark, before we get out of here, do you got any final thoughts?
I don't. I'm excited I'll be working on this right after we get done. If Shane can send me over those protected players, I've got a flight coming up 2 days from now. That'll be my adventure on that flight.
All right. So there you have it. Maybe you'll run into Mark on an airplane in an airport.
It's always
Maybe you can help him
out.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining in, following along throughout the off season. We really enjoy getting to do some of these more creative type shows during the off season. They're always fun. So if you have a show idea, be sure and let us know. I know we'll get to quarterback rankings and head coach rankings and stuff like that, but let us know what other things you'd like to hear us cover. Under 25 team, we can do any sort of that type of stuff. But if you enjoy what you heard on this show, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next episode. Drop us a 5-star rating wherever you stream your podcast. The Eagles Pinpool Network, help us get it out there to more people. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Shane Half NFL. He is at Mark Henry Jr., and we will catch you guys next time.